Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to my sketchbook. It's early Friday morning, and I'm revisiting this picture of a sheriff and a hobby horse, which when I was drawing this, I couldn't come up with the name for this. For some reason, I just thought it was a pony on a stick or a stick pony or something like that. But I watched a couple of videos of people taking place, or I should say, people having competitions where they were running over obstacles and prancing and doing all that kind of stuff and taking it quite seriously. So I thought that was very interesting. So hobby horse competitions, pretty cool. So yeah, no, I will never make fun of anyone who devotes themselves to something as passionately as that. So uh, anyway, let's continue along with this. And the fun thing is, when you're not sort of doing pre-penciling, is you want to figure out where you want to place things in the foreground or in the background. So right now I have this sheriff without a hat, with no arms, no legs, and the hobby horse here. In my mind, as I was finishing up yesterday, I thought, okay, well, I don't really want this to get too far out of hand. Like, I guess in the background it'd be neat to have like some of the facades of buildings, stuff like that. But anyway, I don't usually fill out the entire page. But let's see if we can do something here. Well, right about here, I think. I'm going to put this little finger like that there. And I have to make room for other fingers. And of course, not everyone has hands like mine, which means not everyone's going to have my fingernails. But you're around your own hands all the time. So when I look at my hands and I look at my fingernails, these little crescents here, not everyone has that the same way as me, but that's just how it is with how I'm doing stuff. So right now, I'm creating kind of a trigger point. Just like that. There's going to be a handle. And I need the thumb. So if that's the hand there, that's part of the heel of the hand with the thumb there. created some kind of a spray bottle, it seems. Now we're going to make a label on this. And here, because we're not going to be able to put in lots of detail, start with something like this here. Let's zoom in on that so you can see what I'm up to. That may not be the greatest representation. I'm trying to do this almost as lightly as I can so that if I need to, I can kind of correct a couple of things. So like there, that's a weird little line, but I'll be able to darken that in after. Down here, we're going to draw the most adorable little skull. And we can even make a crossbone. That indicates that this is most probably a poison. Now we can kind of segment the body a little bit here. The upper thorax and abdomen. We're not able to show that it has multiple limbs, like, you know, let's say 6 legs or something like that. Not as much room. But we have some sort of winged insect. So hopefully that's a indication enough. The birds are singing this morning. That's kind of fun. Okay. So that hand there. Now I can even extend the bottom of this just a little bit. Okay. Now if we were extra crafty, I suppose, inside here you could have the little tube that makes its way down here. That kind of, in some ways, siphons, but not perfectly siphons, whatever's inside the bottle through the pump. I'm just creating almost like a wall inside. Okay, well, that's that hand. This part of the vest. That shoulder would tuck in just a little bit there. Now our cowboys kind of has thin arms. Make our way down here. Those tendons kind of make their way closer to that side of the wrist. And kind of work that out a little bit there. Let this part go there. Let's try to back this out a little bit because I need a bit more space for that. It's kind of fun think of the games that we played when we were kids. I'm not going to go into detail with some of those boomer games. It's not my generation. But I think we were influenced by, and I've talked about this before, a lot of what our grandparents did and the dreams that they had, because they would almost vicariously come up with stuff to do with their grandkids. Now, not always, of course. It's not always like that, but I do find some of that stuff interesting. Now, let's see here. I want there to be a band visible in some ways on this hat. And I'll let that be a little bit darker. I don't think I'm going to bring out the brush and water, but it's typical of me to do that with a black and white image. Okay, now let's see here. So chest roughly, stomach roughly to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete some part of the vest. Oops, dip the pen. I'm going to go roughly to here. And I'll set up a button about here. And roughly one here. Okay. I think I have cufflinks somewhere, come to think of it. I was just trying to think if I was going to put like little cufflinks here or whatever. I think mine are strange though. I think mine are like the Millennium Falcon or something like that. I don't really wear outfits that would kind of accommodate that. kind of a thing. Not really in my wheelhouse. So we're going to assume that under here, this collared shirt with the sleeves like that is also here, but right now it's going to be untucked. And often with men's clothing, it's left over right, which is a strange thing. There are specific reasons why we're often told this. I'm not going to go into ridiculous detail about that. And I'm going to have a button here and a spot there where it could possibly go through. And we'll extend that just a little bit. The shirt tail. Now the silly idea that I have here going on inside my head is that we are wearing trunks, as in some sort of swim shorts or something like that. That way we can let our beautiful knees out. We'll let our quads dance a little bit in the sunshine, but not much, as you can see, right above the knee. Just a little bit of the hamstring there. Now we're going to put in our glorious cowboy boots. Actually, let me see here. Okay. Like I said, I'm not sure where the face of this sheriff comes from. It could be from someone I know, it could be from, but for whatever reason, I just kind of wanted a pleasant face. So I think it's possible, as I said in yesterday's video, that this is kind of like a Gene Autry thing, but maybe not. My Uncle Ivan gave me a pair of cowboy boots, and I wore those things like I was out and about. But I do remember kind of being crafty with them. I put silicone on the bottom of the boot because these were like the real cowboy boot, if you want to say as much. But anyway, they had leather soles. So, if you're out ripping around in the grass or climbing into saddles, they were fine. They didn't have to have super duper grips. But these could be rubber boots, really, at this point. Anyway, yeah, no, they didn't have grippy soles. But I think to make some sort of distinction here, we are going to do some ornamentation, of which not all boots like this would have necessarily. It's interesting. A good friend of mine, when I was in like high school, his dad was a cobbler. Now that's an art form that doesn't really exist the same way as it might have many years ago. I think a lot of people, me included, I should say, um, buy footwear that is disposable, so mostly plastic and, well, synthetic stuff. Whereas certain types of leather, you can basically rework that. Oh, for a very long time. Leather can last a very long time. So you don't usually take your sneakers in to get repaired. I'm just putting some kind of squiggles in here. No real deal pattern. Just I want there to be almost an indication that it's a different sort of panel of leather on the inside there. I can kind of put like little ripples like this in. And if I kind of segment that more, almost like dragon skin, we could say that these are alligator. If that makes sense. I don't know if I can zoom in on that because of where I have this set up. No, I don't think I can. Not lots of room at my desk with this camera set up. I didn't leave myself a lot of room to fix the image. This heel to the ankle, and then we can put in creases where the foot needs to bend. There you go, there's some kind of alligator skin. For that boot. Let's back this out once more. Now the hat, quite conveniently placed, I suppose, is saving me the effort of drawing in the other part of the shorts there. But now I have to figure out this boot on this side because, well, it's nice if our cowboy is wearing his boots. Make a little spot where the ankle kind of bloats out a little bit. The top part of the foot, just a little bit there too. We'll put the toe. We're going to have a square or boxed toe here. Oh, you know what would be awesome? Now that's a strange device. I'll have it hooked in there. And we'll make it the sun sort of shape. All right, well, that was a weird little segue, I should say. Side there, a little bit of the heel. We'll tuck in that part there, a little bit of the sole there, and we'll continue along with that other sort of pattern that we have going on. So we're not going to see the pull. Now I have a bishoped panel. I'm sure there's another name for that. We'll go to there roughly. And it'll be flanked by these. I don't know all the secrets to boot construction. I know at one point in time, the soles were nailed into place with the heel. Almost like the same way as if you can imagine seeing a horse get shoed when they put shoes on a horse. And we'll do some of that little kind of scrolly thing, like this is a different type of skin. And then here, we will do some more of that crocodile scale. And then it'll get kind of smaller as it gets towards the toe because of the way that it folds in. A different toe piece, because sometimes that's the best part to replace often enough from kicking stuff around, kicking dirt when you're walking down the road. Now let's do a quick outline on that. Let's make our way back up here to the shorts, I think. We don't need to do a lot of detail. A very light outline on this hat. You know, it's funny when you think about swimming attire, how much that has changed over the past 100 years, even since the 1950s. You know, a one-piece swimsuit, two-piece swimsuit, whatever you can come up with, it certainly has changed a lot. Okay. Because this could be just basically boxer shorts. But they're not. So what are things that we can have on here? Well, let's work in kind of like a palm tree here. And it'll have a bit of a lean over that way. A couple of coconuts in it. Let's say here we could have a ray of sunshine, much like that stirrup. But we don't get to see the whole part of the sun. Maybe the pattern repeats. I have another little ray of sunshine here. And of course, we don't get to see the whole thing. A little bit of shadow works there. And just a little scrolly something here, like it's part of that palm tree. Sleeve there. A little bit of outline on that hand. So of course, if you haven't been here before, as I always do, I greet you when you arrive. You can draw along with me. You'll know how long the video is. You don't have to draw the exact same thing as me. You can draw whatever you like. And it's just for fun. You could subscribe if you like. You can comment. You can like if you like. I will always say this part. You don't have to leave the notifications on because you don't need me to be sending you a message when I wake up in the middle of the night to draw a picture or what have you. You can just come back and see what I'm up to. Now that's supposed to be a pocket there on the edge of that sun. We'll kind of tuck that in and around like that. All right, so that's what we have going on head to toe with the sheriff. Getting rid of some bugs. Final thing, although there's a lot more detail stuff that I could probably do with this. Let's just add a little bit more ruffling to this shirt. All right, the hobby horse. Now, there are different versions of these. There's a short sort of stick that you can get for doing the steeple challenges. If you're a hobby horse challenger, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. So I'm going to extend this wooden handle. I'll make a few knots in it as well, like I did up here. This is a fairly long one. Just like that, nothing too outrageous. We're not going to put a finial or anything like that on it. What we're going to do is protect the end of the wood, but at the same time, let's see if I can kind of move that up a little bit. And will this work out? Well, I guess we'll find out. I would think there wouldn't be a lot of people that would encourage this part. This is more of a comfort thing, I think. Just working on this hub.